Does whey protein help with weight loss? Does it make you gain weight? Does it really help build muscle? In the next few minutes, you will discover all the myths and truths about whey and what happens when you start using this supplement every day. A lot of people think it's a magic powder that makes you lose weight or grow muscles out of nowhere, but hold on. Whey is nothing more than protein powder. That's right, protein just like the one found in chicken, fish, eggs, but in a more convenient form. It can be a great ally in your routine, especially for those who have trouble hitting the ideal amount of protein during the day. But no one is obligated to take it. After all, some people feel extremely bloated and stuffed after taking whey. And many times, they keep taking it thinking they'll lose weight or gain muscle. And that's a big lie. If you prefer to eat a nice piece of meat or cook your eggs, that's perfectly fine. What's important is making sure you're getting your protein in some way. And that's up to you to decide. Now, if you're wondering, but then, how much food is equivalent to 1 scoop of whey? The answer is simple. 1 scoop of whey, about 30 g, has approximately the same amount of protein as 100 g of chicken. That's the size of that little fillet that fits in the palm of your hand. Can it be replaced? Yes. But is it necessary? Only if it's more convenient for you. There are days when you feel too lazy to cook, or you're in a rush and a shake solves it. But if you prefer real food, no problem, just organize your meals properly. Now, let's understand the difference between whey isolate and whey concentrate. Whey concentrate is the most common and contains a bit of carbs and fat along with the protein, because it undergoes less filtration. On the other hand, isolate is like the purified version, with more protein per serving and almost no carbs or fat, great for those who are lactose intolerant or want quicker digestion. But in the end, both do the same thing. Help supplement your daily protein intake. The choice depends on your budget and your goal. So, if anyone tells you that you need to take whey to lose weight or build muscle, you can laugh inside and carry on with your life. What really matters is your overall diet. Since we're talking about protein and whey protein causes all this controversy, let's understand once and for all what protein is and why it's so important. If there's one nutrient that deserves respect, it's this one. Protein is an essential nutrient that works as a real building block for the body. It's made up of smaller molecules called amino acids, which are like puzzle pieces that the body uses to form muscles, skin, hair, nails, hormones, enzymes, and even immune system cells. Some of these puzzle pieces the body can produce on its own, but others, called essential amino acids, can only be obtained through food. Without enough protein, the body can't recover properly, loses muscle mass, and even the metabolism can slow down. In other words, protein isn't just for athletes. Everyone needs it to live well. Now let me make this more visual. Imagine your body is a house under construction. Protein is the bricks, but not just any bricks. They are the ones that need to fit together perfectly for the structure to be strong. The problem with this is that our body can't produce all the amino acids on its own, so it needs us to eat protein to provide that material. When we eat a steak, an egg, or drink a whey shake, our body breaks down the protein into amino acids and redistributes them where needed to repair muscles, strengthen the immune system, and keep the metabolism active. If protein is lacking, the body has to improvise, and it might start to steal from the muscles, making us weak, with a slow metabolism, and even more prone to illness. So where does this protein come from? Well, besides whey, which we've seen is just an option, not an obligation. It's found in meat, chicken, eggs, fish, cheese, yogurt, and even plant-based sources like beans, lentils, tofu. The important thing isn't where it comes from, but ensuring you're eating enough protein each day. But wait, there's one more important detail. What happens if we go overboard with protein? Because yes, protein is essential, but that doesn't mean the more, the better. The body has a limit to what it can use, and once it passes that point, the excess can have some not-so-good effects. Unlike carbohydrates, which are used for immediate energy, or fats, which are stored as reserves, the body doesn't have an infinite stock of protein. If you send in more than it needs, the leftover doesn't automatically turn into muscle. In fact, some of it can be turned into glucose and even stored as fat. In other words, overdoing it can ironically make it harder to lose weight instead of helping. And it doesn't stop there. Too much protein can also overload the kidneys, especially if you're not drinking enough water. This happens because, during protein digestion, our body produces waste products like urea, which need to be filtered by the kidneys and eliminated through urine. If you're taking in too much protein and not hydrating properly, your kidneys have to work overtime. In healthy people, this usually isn't an immediate problem, but for someone with pre-existing kidney conditions, it can get complicated. Not to mention, overeating animal protein, especially red meat and dairy, can increase uric acid production and even promote kidney stone formation. But don't panic and start cutting protein from your plate. The secret is balance. The ideal amount varies for each person depending on weight, activity level, and goals. But to give you a general idea, the recommendation for an average person is around 1.2 g to 2 g of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. So if someone weighs 70 kilograms, for example, this would be between 84 g and 140 g of protein in total. We've covered a lot about protein, but what about the famous carbohydrate? Is it the biggest villain of weight loss? Imagine that our body is a big machine that needs fuel to work properly. That fuel is glucose, which comes from carbohydrates. Now, think of the fuel, glucose, as the gasoline in a car. If the car doesn't have gasoline, it doesn't move, right? The same thing happens with the body. Without glucose, it doesn't have the energy to carry out activities like running, thinking, or even breathing. The body also has a gas tank where it stores some extra glucose. This tank is in the liver and muscles, and when blood glucose starts to run low, the body goes to the reserve to keep things running, just like a car that still has gas stored in its tank. And the brain, which is like the engine of the body, needs a lot of glucose to work well. If the engine doesn't have enough fuel, it starts to fail, and we can lose focus or even have trouble thinking clearly. That's why carbohydrates are so important. They provide the fuel the body needs to work properly. Now, why are people so afraid of carbohydrates? The thing is, over the years, several extreme diets have gained popularity suggesting cutting carbs to lose weight. The problem is that these diets aren't sustainable and in the long run can harm your health. Our body needs carbohydrates to work well, even for the metabolism to work efficiently. And those who cut carbs completely from their diet may see quick results, but usually lose more muscle mass than fat, which can slow down the metabolism even more and ultimately make weight loss harder. And more, when returning to a normal diet, the body ends up storing more fat since it was deprived of fuel for a while. The secret here is balance. It's not about cutting carbohydrates, but choosing the best sources like potatoes, rice, fruits, vegetables, and grains. These carbohydrates not only provide energy, but are also rich in fiber and nutrients that help the body function efficiently. So, the real key to an effective diet is eating carbohydrates in moderation at the right time and in the right amounts. And no fad diets that cut carbs, okay? Your body will thank you, and the results will be much more lasting. Now that we've talked about protein and carbohydrates, let's put everything together and understand how weight loss really works in a simple and efficient way. The key to weight loss is not cutting carbs or overdoing protein. The secret is being in a calorie deficit, that is, burning more calories than you consume. And how do you achieve that? By combining a balanced diet with proteins, carbohydrates, and good fats, and engaging in physical activity. When the body realizes it's receiving fewer calories than it needs, it starts to look for energy sources to make up the difference. And guess where we'll get it from? From stored fat. When you're in a calorie deficit, that is, when you burn more calories than you consume, the body begins to use stored fat as extra energy. The fat is broken down into smaller pieces called fatty acids and glycerol. These pieces enter the bloodstream and go to the muscles and other organs, where they are burned to produce the energy the body needs. Thus, the stored fat is gradually used up and reduced. So, in summary, the body takes the stored fat, uses it as fuel, and gradually reduces this fat. Therefore, the diet that works is not a crazy diet that cuts carbs or increases protein at any cost. The effective diet is the one that ensures you're consuming the right amounts of each macronutrient, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, while still maintaining a calorie deficit, which will lead your body to use stored fat as fuel. So, it's not about cutting anything. It's about balance and awareness of what and how you're eating. This is what will make you lose weight healthily and sustainably, without needing crazy diets, without starving. And the main thing is to go at your own pace, and in the long run, you'll see amazing results. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because here you'll always find the truth without deception and content that will really help you achieve your health, wellness, and weight loss goals. You deserve to take care of yourself. You deserve to feel good with your body and your life. I'm rooting for you, and I can't wait to hear about your progress. Remember, you are amazing. A kiss. May God be with you, and see you in the next video.